I was originally going to hold off on making this video until the Lunacid playthrough was done, but now we've gotten to a point where even that thing's gonna be affected. So here we are, a Christmas present no one wants. Before I give the update, in the background, we have some gameplay footage from Astalon Tears of Earth. It's an NES-style Metroidvania. I was originally planning to make a playthrough of it for the channel, but for reasons I'm about to get into, that probably won't happen. If you like what you see, go pick up the game. I'm not that far in, but the first impressions are pretty good. There's an important concept in life. I forget what the term for it is, or even where I first heard of it, but the premise goes as follows. You don't know if your dreams are worth it until you've tried them. It's one thing to think you want to be a great chef, but what if you have long hair and you're being told you need to get off, but you'd rather not? And what if you get asked to cook something that just disgusts you? Like, I know I couldn't handle octopus. And on top of that, working in the kitchen is incredibly stressful. You just don't know if that's the sort of thing you'll be able to handle until you've actually attempted it, or at least something similar to it. It's easier to like the idea of being something than actually being that thing. For that reason, the only way to know what professions and hobbies you'll actually enjoy enough to tough out the hard parts is to actually try it. You know how the meme goes, just do it. Never know until you try. The Lunacid playthrough, and by extension this channel in general, is me trying an attempt to figure out if being a Let's Player is something I'd enjoy. To make a long story short, no, it isn't. There are a few reasons for why. The big one is the video editing. It takes a lot of time to edit the videos. See, I originally planned to have the series uploaded on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but editing the videos is just hard enough that meeting those deadlines consistently is an exercise in frustration. On top of that, the time I'm spending working on the videos is also taking time away from other things that I honestly feel are more important to me. The big one is game development. I can say, at least in my case, that being a game developer and a Let's Player, mutually exclusive. Like, with the game development, it's just forgiving enough that I can have other hobbies alongside of it, but the same can't be said of Let's Playing, especially with the style of editing I do. Speaking of the editing style, as you may have noticed, the method I chose for the Lunacid playthrough was edit out all the dead air, or at least as much as I could, and then just leave in the moments where I'm either talking or something interesting is happening. However, I'm not very good at deciding what is interesting. A common issue I was running into these past few play sessions is I'd have something that I wanted to include in the video because it affected me in a particular way while recording, but I can't cut in the middle of it, so I can't make it any shorter, so there's just this 1 or 2 minute span of footage that's just unedited, followed immediately by 8 or 9 cuts of all about 2 seconds each. And I don't have a good way to rectify that. And on top of all this, you can't listen to music while you're video editing. And see, I'm the kind of guy who I need to have some kind of background noise going on in order to help focus. But with video editing, because listening to the audio of the video you're editing is an important part, you can't really do that. You have to give the program 100% of your attention, and that slows me down quite a bit. Ultimately, the whole experience has led me to one main conclusion. Let's Playing will not be the focus of this channel going forward. It just can't be. I can't keep up with that sort of style. Now, this isn't to say that I'm never going to upload Let's Plays again. It just means that these longer blind playthroughs are going to be more or less non-existent. Instead, I'll focus more on videos I record during multiplayer sessions with my friends like Raptor and Frey. On top of that, if I do end up making longer series, they're less likely to be blind playthroughs and more, here's a game I really enjoyed, let me show you how to beat it. And don't worry, Lunacid is not going anywhere. I intend to finish that game. That said, in order to actually be able to have the time and motivation to keep up with the uploads, I'm not going to be editing them as aggressively as I have been. Instead, I'm going to do something a bit more traditional where I leave the majority of the footage untouched and just edit out sections of backtracking and other mundane moments like leveling up and chopping. This does mean that there will be more videos in which there are just long stretches of time where I just don't say anything, but the alternative is just not uploading the video at all, so we'll have to make a compromise. Besides, if there is a moment in the video that's like really boring, it's not too hard to skip over. It's very easy to tell at a glance when gameplay is action-packed and when it's just kinda bumbling around, I guess. So, with all that said, the natural question to ask is, if I'm not going to be doing Let's Plays, what am I going to do with this channel? Because I don't want to give up on making videos in general, it's just I need to transition to a style that's less dedicated and doesn't require as intensive editing. Something where being more sporadic is either expected or tolerable. And I've got a couple of different hobbies I like that I think I can do that with. As I mentioned before, I do game development in my spare time. And, well, most of the things I make never end up getting published. I have gotten pretty close to breaking that trend with these most recent attempts, and each of them getting cancelled for reasons either beyond my control or, in the case of the most recent one, the game just wasn't that good. That said, I'm in the process of prototyping something new, and it's not only pretty fun thus far, but also aesthetically simple enough that I should be able to get it put out within a month or two, so keep an eye out for that. I'll make a post-mortem video on it once it's published. On top of game dev, I'm also an artist. You know, I like to draw, paint, all that stuff, and I especially like making comics. I've made a few webcomics in the past. I'm thinking I should be able to manage being a game dev and a comic artist at the same time, so I might just do a sort of split channel idea where I focus on both equally, but no, we'll have to see if that's realistic once I've actually had a chance to sit down and do more comic work. And another idea I've toyed with is role-playing. I'm not a fan of Dungeons & Dragons itself, but I am a fan of games in its ilk. And in particular, I've been getting really into solo play. So I'm probably going to release 1 or 2 videos about that subject, and maybe even playing through one such solo campaign. So, regardless of which theme I end up choosing for the channel, the plan is as follows. First, finish Lunacid. Second, rebrand away from being a gaming channel. And third, get a second channel set up for videos that don't fit in the theme of the new channel. I was originally thinking of making this that channel and just posting whatever the hell I want, but this is also the channel I have all my subscriptions and the like on, so it'll be a lot easier if my random nonsense is on a separate channel that I only visit once in a while. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover. If anything about this update upset you, I apologize, but it's the way things are gonna happen going forward. Like, I can't keep forcing myself to be a Let's Player if I don't enjoy it. Like, it'll be obvious I don't enjoy it, and no one's gonna want to watch those videos. If you have decided to stick around through these changes, thank you. expect a lot of experimenting in the short term until I can settle on which theme I want to commit to. And finally, I also know that YouTube has this odd habit of recommending update videos to people who don't normally follow the channel. I mean, I've had several instances where I'll watch a video and the comments are just like, this is the first time I found your channel, but I really appreciate the things you had to say and stuff like that. So if you are one of those people, welcome, and hopefully you're willing to stick around. Regardless of which group you're in, leave a comment and let me know what types of videos you'd like me to experiment with first. With all that said, I hope you have a nice day. See you next time.